why I kept silent for almost parang 6 months pa, 7 months dito sa channel ko is that because Hello, welcome to Changing Awareness and Enlightenment channel. It's me, Jen. Today's video, pag-usapan natin kung ano nga ba yung importance ng mga relationship natin sa buhay. Actually, wala akong ginawang listahan or anything. Parang naupo ako dito, inisip ko kung ano yung magiging topic ko na parang pinaka-relevant at this time habang nakaupo ako dito, and that is, I think, relationship. And that is also masasabi ko na why I kept silent for almost parang 6 months pa, 7 months dito sa channel ko is that because I have sabihin na natin na dumaan ako on my phase of dark night, one of my dark night of the soul, and yung sinasabi natin na shadow work and healing as well. Honestly, right now, hindi pa ako fully healed, but then I'm thriving. I'm striving, not anymore on the struggling side, but on my own perception, I do believe that I am now ready to be in others' auric field. I am now ready na makipag-communicate, to reconnect with people, and to be connected with people again. Kasi this past few months, I've been really weak. So, I tend to retreat. That's who I am. It's not escapism kasi kung escape yun, I wouldn't be here anymore. 'Di ba? So, that's the reason why I made this topic as my video kasi mas close yun sa situation ko ngayon, and I think I can explain it better than any other topic. So disclaimer lang, hindi ko sinasabi na I am good at all kinds of relationship kasi hindi talaga. Pangungunahan ko na rin kayo na itong mga explanation ko dito is hindi ko ibabase sa kahit na saang paliwanag mula sa ibang tao, mula sa internet, mula sa iba. I will just going to explain it in the way I understand it right now, because I think whatever it is that I am having a download right now that is the most relevant thing that I know that I can relate or to resonate for those people who need this talk, video, or make sense for those who really in need of this understanding. So what is our mga subtopics in this video? Number 1, what is relationship? Number 2, what are the types and kinds of relationships? Number 3, what are the influences of these relationships? Number 4, ano yung mga expectations natin within these relationships? Number 5, why we have these relationships? And number 6, explanation of the spiritual side of what is relationship. At least we'll make it little more deeper, more than our day-to-day life, para mas maging make sense sa atin and much more maging special yung pagkakaunawa natin dito sa mga relationships that we have. So before ako mag-start, gusto ko lang humingi ng excuse sa inyo if ever there is noise na mag-i-interrupt sa atin. Pinangungunahan ko na kayo, so kung may marinig kayong ganun at hindi na kinaya ng editing skills ko yung pag-less ng voice nila, please, pasensyahan nyo na po. Okay, let's proceed to my video. First, What is relationship? For me or for this particular explanation lang ha. So it's not really general in a sense ng Google style, okay? Magsimula tayo dun sa root word ng relation, which is relate. So it means this particular connection that you have must have a relative, diba? Relate relative. Relative experiences from both sides. From me to you, or from sayo and in that particular person that you have in your mind. There are experiences, there are communication, there are situations na pinagdaanan ninyo. That's why this particular connection that you have is related to you. Both of you have this particular experiences together. So that is one word to explain why you have this kind of relationship with this particular person. So yung ship, hindi ko na alam paano ko explain yun dahil hindi nga tayo Google, but somehow, some way na parang we are embarking on the same ship. We are moving on the same ship. That's why you are in a relationship. I don't know if that really makes sense to you, but for me, it makes sense to me in a deeper sense or in a deeper level. Both of you have your own way of experiencing. You have your own angle, aspect of experiencing that particular connection in that relationship. Sino yung pinakaunang tao na naiisip natin when it comes dun sa word na relationship? Pag narinig natin yung word na relationship. 'Di ba? Ang unang-una nating naiisip is yung mga tao na malapit sa atin. Malapit sa puso natin. It can be yung mga love life natin. Maaring boyfriend, asawa, kachat natin na kinikilig-kilig tayo, ganyan. Or pwede namang kung wala tayong ganun sa buhay, pwedeng yung best friend natin, pwedeng yung best friend natin na kaaway natin, or maaaring magulang lang natin, or yung mga guardians natin. It could be our lola, our tita, or kung sino man sila na mga unang-unang taong may isip natin na special sa atin. 'Di ba? Or yung anak natin, pwedeng ganyan. Kung sino pa man sila sa buhay natin, that is masasabi natin that we have connection, masasabi natin that we are in a relationship. So, hindi lang siya nandoon sa konteksto ng pagiging in a relationship sa Facebook, yung in a relationship status. So, hindi lang siya doon. Hindi lang doon umiikot yung topic natin for today's video. So, ang pag-uusapan natin is relationship in general, and in a more broader, in a more spiritual, hopefully, maibigay ko yun at maipaliwanag ko yun ng maayos sa inyo. And for us to be more understanding dun sa konteksto ng relationship. The context of being in a relationship must have a mutual experience together. So it doesn't discriminate or parang hindi natin mina-minus dito yung relationship sa group. Alam mo yun, yung hindi lang dalawang tao ang involved sa relationship. It could be 3, 4 people, community, and the world. Diba? So, we are all in a relationship in any way or form on this earth. Papasok na ngayon dyan kung ano yung klase ng relationship na meron tayo sa buhay natin. Ano-ano ba yung mga relationships na meron tayo sa buhay natin? Simulan natin nung bata pa tayo. Siyempre, yung family. Loob ng family, merong mother, merong father, merong brother, merong sister. At dun sa mga brother, sister na yan, merong mas matanda sa'yo at mas bata sa'yo. Diba? Sa magulang naman, iba yung nanay sa tatay. At depende yun kung ano yung personality nung magulang mo, nung mother at nung father mo, at personalities nung mga kapatid mo, nung mga siblings mo. So, all of this particular person have their own characteristic to make sense sa iyong character. And this particular persons have relationships with you. They are somehow related to you, not only by blood, not only by biological means, but of course with your personality and how you build up your own psychological makeup sa paglaki mo because of the influences of these people, of this family that you have. This is the first-hand community that you have, the first-hand tribe that you have na kinalakihan mo, whether biological family mo to, or even if you were adopted, or kamag-anak mo lang, or somehow, kung saan ka lumaki. This particular mga relationships makes up of who you are and makes up of this particular connection, kung ano yung magiging thinking mo dun sa particular na connection mo yun. Just like for example, nakakatuwa to kasi ang weird, pero nakakatuwa kasi in a way na normal pa rin siya, pero weird. Bakit ko sinasabi? Gusto kong gamitin na example si OG Diaz. Kasi I've been watching his vlogs sa YouTube niya. At natutuwa ako habang kinukwento niya yung lahat ng mga chismisan nila sa showbiz. At the back of my mind while I am watching his video, I am really, really amazed of how he handles his family. Diba? We know that he is not a typical na lalaki, common na lalaki na makikita nating brusko, pogi, manly. Hindi siya yon. But, he is a father to his family. That is some kind of a weird, that is not mako-consider natin na normal standard natin. So, we label them as somehow hindi normal. And I find it very amazing of how this particular person, which is OG Diaz, how he handles his family and how his family handles him or connects with him. How are the feelings and the thoughts that meron dun sa asawa niya at sa mga anak niya towards him, and him towards this every single person that he have in his family. So, what am I trying to say dito is that yung dynamics ng relationship ni OG sa kanyang asawa is have a very unique connection dahil hindi ito typical. Although I'm not saying that tayo mga normal or tayo mga typical na merong relationship na hindi tayo kagaya ni OG is hindi unique. Every single connection that we have in our life is unique. As unique as OG Diaz and his wife have. Okay? So, kaya ko lang siya ginamit na explanation is that talagang na-amaze lang ako on how their connection is going through day by day. And I am really amazed of how our consciousness can really embrace that kind of connection. Although, of course, there are questions, especially outside them, kagaya natin. But for them, you can see how they accept. You can see how they connect. Even there is boundaries. They, alam mo yun, nalampasan nila yung mga boundaries when it comes to connection or relationship. So, what am I trying to explain here is that relationship comes in different forms. After the family, relatives natin, so we make connection with them. It makes up of who we are. When we grow up, we start to make friends. And that friends could also add up to our experiences, relationship, and how we communicate. How we try to adapt to outer or exterior na mga influences in our life. When we turn high school, college, nag-expand pa. Variety of personalities that we encounter, yung tribe natin, the people that we meet, the experiences that we have, the relationship that we can handle in our life. Life is getting more heavier. Life is getting more mabigat because of those obligations. Aminin natin o hindi, we cannot say na hindi siya mabigat because this time we need to be more responsible. Hindi na tayo pwede magpabaya, especially when we are trying to be more make sense dun sa mga connections, relationships na meron tayo, because now naiintindihan natin that being in a relationship is that we need to take good care of these relationships because we don't want them to slip away from our lives. Or somehow, meron naman mga tao na gusto natin or kailangan na nating i-let go. So, nagkakaroon na ng ganong klase ng dynamic sa buhay natin habang lumalaki tayo. People, relationship, and experiences na daladala ng mga tao na to always comes and go. And we have to accept that that's how life goes. We need to be adaptive of this particular kind of trait. At nagiging normal na natin yun because when we grow up, if we tend to communicate with people, we learn from every single relationship different kind of lesson. And that is the reason, that is the importance of the relationships in our life. Hindi sila dumating sa buhay natin dahil lang pamilya natin sila. There is much more deeper level meaning, understanding of why these people is in our life. Our parents have their particular characteristics. Our family, our siblings, relatives, our friends, best friends, colleagues, and whomever it is, even our enemy, has its own purpose in our life. Kung sino sila sa buhay natin, that is their purpose. Especially, like for example, pag-usapan natin yung kaaway natin. So, ang purpose ni kaaway is to piss you off. If we look at it that way, then that must be. But if we try to look at it in a more conscious way of thinking, i-extract natin yung essence why this particular enemy comes into our lives, we will understand that this particular enemy na tinatawag natin is also teaching us a more heavier lesson. Or I would say, hindi heavier. Parang yun kasi yung magiging thought natin dahil as a human, we thought of things na kapag ka negative, we think it's heavier. Well, totoo naman yun in a way, pagkatao tayo. Pero if we will look at it in a more conscious way, in a more spiritual sense, this particular person have a special lesson to teach us. And both of you, this particular relationship that you have, si enemy at si ikaw, have this special connection only on the other spectrum. Hindi nga lang siya nasa good side, so nandito siya sa bad side. Diba? Kung sa parents or sa loved one natin, sa taong pinakamahal natin, we experience the intensity of love, the intensity of all of the good things that we can feel in a relationship. Sa enemy, nandun lang din siya sa spectrum ng love. Sa kabilang side nga lang, and in this side, andito lang yung hate. Andito lang yung mga negative emotions na kabaliktaran ng love. Kumbaga, yung duality means merong kabilang side, merong positive and negative side, merong North Pole, South Pole side, mga ganyan. So, siya ay nagnanavigate dito sa kabilang side, which is, andito yung mga heavier feeling that unpleasant, na hindi natin gustong maramdaman, but we can feel it because this particular connection that you have, relationship that you have in this enemy is unacceptable sa sarili mong pananaw. At some point, meron kayong pinagtalunan, naging issue, that makes you enemy. And still, it is a relationship. It is a connection. And whether there is connection, there is relationship. And when there is a relationship, there is an experience of these interactions. There are thoughts, di ba? Merong conversation. Merong mga thoughts na negative na will make you trigger of what is your issue, who you are. I would say that if we are more aware and more conscious that this particular connection, si enemy, this particular relationship is also giving us a lesson. Because there is an experience, and whenever there is an experience, there is a lesson. There is a lesson that we need to see, we need to appreciate, and then at the end of the day, this particular enemy is still a part of who and what we are. Going back dun sa latest post ko sa Facebook, I think mga 1 week ago, I'm not sure anymore, na sabi ko doon is hindi laging nasa ibang tao ang sisi. It's because it's true. Kahit ano pa ang mangyari sa buhay natin, hindi natin pwedeng isisi completely yun sa ibang tao. Because we always have the part dun sa menace na yun, dun sa chaos na nangyari na yun. Kahit pa sabihin natin completely siya yung gumawa nun. And of course, ang pinaka-importante dun is that God also give us our own set of personality, our physical attributes. Kung naniniwala kayo sa astrological makeup and the numerology, meaning of your names, and all of the existing personal aspects mo that will make the relationship, the connection, relevant in your situation, in your life. So, hindi lang yung tungkol sa kanila, but more on tungkol sa sarili mo. This relationship na na-experience natin is always been teaching us, not only to teach us, but pag ipasok natin yung salitang karma, it always helps us. Especially na guys, yung mga tao na kaaway, yung may mga mabibigat na energy na bit-bit sa buhay natin or dala sa buhay natin. Ito yung mga tao, connections, relationship na tinutulungan tayo na mas makilala natin yung sarili natin, na mas maging aware tayo sa sarili natin, kung ano tayo, sino tayo, at kung hindi pa natin nakikita yung pinakamagandang gift na ibinibigay sa atin ng mga taong unpleasant na tinuturing natin sa buhay natin is that they teach us to be more loving of ourselves, to be more accepting of ourselves, and the same way kapag dumating tayo sa punto na nakipagbati na tayo, we reconcile with these people, or at least not necessarily naman na makipag-reconcile, or at least we decided na you need to let go of those negative feelings towards that person. It's them teaching you to love yourself. It's them teaching you to learn to forgive. It's them teaching you to learn to let go. It's them teaching you to move on, to accept, to surrender. And most of all, aside from loving yourself, it they teach you, they teach us to be more trusting sa kung ano yung ibinigay ni God. Kasi I would say, and I believe, and I always say that when there is fear, there are pre-set of expectations. At kapag hindi na-meet tong mga expectations dun sa mga relationships na meron sa buhay natin, there is tendencies of uncontentment, disappointment. So, doon nag-i-start yung mga feeling ng mga negative feelings towards doon sa mga harmonious relationship natin. Na somehow it ends up na yung mga love of our life is nagiging enemy natin, nagiging ex natin. Yun yung pinaka-simplest form, but of course, to make it more general and make it more broader, yung mga tao na kasundo natin at yung mga hindi natin kasundo, they both teach us to balance our own energy, our own set of thinkings on things in general. For us, realize that hindi lang love life ang importanteng relationship. Hindi lang family, hindi lang kapatid, hindi lang yung mga taong matters to us, but also all of the single person that we meet each and every single day sa buhay natin. And as a people who are having relationship, kaliwat kanan, lahat tayo ganon, meron tayo nun. We should be aware, we can't be selfish. Pero hindi rin natin pwedeng, alam mo yun, hindi rin tayo pwedeng maging selfless. We always need to meet sa gitna of being selfish and being selfless. At least, pumunta tayo sa gitna kasi we don't want it to be victims of this relationship that we have. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging super selfish. Tayo makaka-victim. Pagka sobrang selfless naman natin, tayo naman yung magiging victim. So, might as well, we need to balance things. So, isang area pa lang yan. Sa marami pang anggulo, aspeto ng pakikipagrelasyon at pagiging in a connection, we need to learn to balance our energy. We should trust, and then we should communicate all the time. And we should learn when to talk to them and what to tell them. We need to balance. We have to discern things. Ang haba na ng video ko, pero I think it's very, very relevant and makes sense. Always, iiwan ko sa inyo, always look in your heart. Always be honest with yourself. Kung totoo, tama ba yung pinaniniwalaan mong tama mo? O baka gawa mo lang yan just to make this relationship work. So, we have to be honest so that we can let go of all of those negative attachments that we have. Okay? So, pure intent is always been the most beautiful word that I can leave in every video that I make. Thank you so much for staying with me in this video, and sana may napulot kayo na lesson, may naintindihan kayo na mai-share din ninyo sa kapwa natin. No matter kahit nasaan side of the world ka, always remember to take things gracefully. Love and light, everyone. Bye. Love you.